So we've probably heard this a lot today, but I'll restate some of this. As you may know, 40% of college students do not graduate within 6 years. And when you dive deep into this problem, academically speaking, why are students leaving an institution or failing out? The answer is students suck at self-regulation. And I can say that because I was recently a student, so I get a pass. Students are not good at understanding their own abilities. They often procrastinate. And when this happens, they exhibit poor academic behaviors, and they ultimately become academically at risk, and they leave the institution. And University of Washington and University of Maryland, Baltimore County came to us with this kind of problem. How can we help students self-regulate, exhibit better behaviors, and ultimately become a better learner? How do we train students to become better learners? Students need a technology that can coach them, that can support them throughout their academic journey. And if you look at the research, academic coaching, as in having a human work with a student, greatly improves their odds of graduation. The problem is that academic coaching is a resource-intensive service. It's hard to hire a lot of humans to support students. So what we decided to do was to build an artificial academic coach, or an artificial TA, that embeds into the classroom and provides a similar type of coaching. And the way it works is that we built an AI algorithm that can understand syllabi, unstructured texts that have no real formatting at all. So we integrate with a university learning management system. We look at the syllabi. We extract out what's meaningful, the key dates, the meaningful topics, how the assignments are weighted. And by knowing the different week-by-week schedules and what's meaningful, we're able to actually use a methodology that we've developed to understand how we should coach students. So we've taken academic coaching and applied it in a way that we can scale it by having these kind of ongoing conversations with students. So we'll help identify some of the problems they may be having. We'll set goals with them. We'll have this dialogue through our mobile platform. And we'll start to leverage resources on campus. Sometimes students may have a chemistry lab that's due, and we may invite them to go to the writing center that they didn't know that they could have attended. Or maybe we'll have them form a study group with 3 other students. There's many things that we do here to complete this cycle, and then we give them feedback along the way, kind of assessing them on their ability as a student from a behavioral perspective. So our product has been pretty successful. We've been live in the App Store and Google Play Store. I invite anyone to look up our reviews. Highly adopted among students. We have actively about 1,000 students active a day, probably having about 30 to 50 group sessions, whether they're having study groups or meeting with tutors. So there's high collaboration, high engagement, and our bot, Leon, the AI coach, pretty much has been brokering these relationships and engaging students. If a student starts to struggle, we may ask them, where do they see the next steps for them in that classroom? What should they be doing? And kind of through this conversation, we're actually assessing their abilities. So it's really interesting stuff. Or if I have an exam coming up, it may ask me, how do I feel about the particular topics for my next exam? I may say, okay, I'm pretty confident in a variety of different areas. And then I go and fail the exam. And it reaches back out to me now that it knows that I'm not good at math, but it also knows that I can't self-reflect. And there needs to be more intervention around my ability as a learner. So we kind of opened up some insights that are previously lost. And we were able to actually really, alter how students see themselves inside the institution and inside the classroom. If a student begins to collaborate and have good relationships with other students, we'll remember these relationships and try to engage them to collaborate again. We may show them a trajectory of where they're at and where they should be before they finish the course. So all this information is helping students make more informed decisions about the behaviors they exhibit inside the classroom. And as a result, at the end of our pilots, students were able to kind of predict within an 85% accuracy of what grade they were going to get for an exam. So by being able to identify exactly where they were in the classroom, we could help them create strategies and collaborations to do better or prepare for their exams, which led to a 6% improved outcomes among the students that were using our platform. So those students not only were able to self-reflect, have more confidence, but they were actually able to do better, which is really interesting. Our business model is we sell directly to institutions, B2B, which is roughly $5 to $25 per student based on a sliding scale. We're now up to about 7 partnered institutions. People who really align with our mission about how we can improve the learner is really what we're interested and focused on. We've sold to some institutions in the UK, so we're growing internationally as well. We've been working through channels really to drive our adoption. We have some strategic partnerships, some learning management systems that we work with, and that really has been driving our cases. And now we have some interest from K-12 and also on the corporate side, so we'll continue to grow through our existing channels. That's really the focus we have right now. So our team's pretty strong background. My co-founder, Sylvia Nedelchik, previously worked at Amazon, so we bring a lot of the different machine learning recommendation engines that they use to StudyTree. And then also Leon Kim previously worked at Education Advisory Board. He's a data scientist and helps with our predictive modeling. My name's Ethan Kaiser. I'm the CEO and founder of StudyTree. I pretty much have a background in artificial intelligence and a computer science degree. And we have really great reviews. Students really like our product, and I think that kind of speaks for itself. We built a technology that's very sticky, and because of the amount of engagement and usage and conversations with our bot, we're kind of creating a new way of assessing students from a behavioral perspective, kind of reimagining a GPA and looking at where the problems really are in the actual behaviors. Thanks.